Hello, world! Joshua McClain here from 8 Bits to Infinity. Today we're talking with CptBlackPixel, also known as Erick, about his team Fire Slime and their mobile game development endeavors. They're currently working on a game called Tales of a Lost Mine, which is a Metroidvania game. We all love those games, wonderful platformers. So let's get it started. Hello, Erick.
Hello, Joshua.
How are you doing today?
Doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I forgot to set up my music, so this is going to be a nice silent backing for a while. Uh, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So, my name is Eric. I'm known in the internet by the nickname Captain Black Pixel because, I like pirates and I like pixel art. So that's my nickname. I am a software developer for almost 13 years now. I have developed software, web, mobile, all kind of stuffs. Uh, I right now I'm working a lot with mobile, both Android and iOS, and I'm always loved developing games since I think since the first time I played Super Nintendo back in the day. I decided that I want to do game dev, and that's why I end up with software development. Uh, I have done a lot of things, a lot of unfinished gaming, and recently I have started some endeavor with some friends uh, that we are now developing that game, Tales of Lost Mining, and it's going pretty well, I think.
Awesome.
I forgot to say I live in Brazil, uh, and that's it. I don't know.
You mentioned the Super NES. Were there any specific games that inspired you to get into game dev?
I think that's a bit cliche, but Super Mario, it was the first game I played.
It's a good
I
game.
like, yeah, but I also like a lot the Donkey Kong Country series, especially the second one. Uh, I don't know. I always loved gaming when I was kid. I play a lot of games. I don't have a favorite genre. But platforms also have a special place in my heart, especially because I think this weird of games had a lot of platforms, and I ended up playing a lot of them.
Yeah, awesome. Um, you mentioned you're in Brazil. What's the game dev scene like in Brazil?
Yeah, we have some big games studios, but not much. It's I I don't think you can if you compare the scene here with Europe or North America. Uh, the the biggest studio here, I think, is called Aquarius. They released a game worldwide. You may have heard of it or not. It's called Horizon Chase. It's a spiritual successor to Top Gear series, and I think that's the biggest studio we have here. Most of people who try game dev here go the indie path because there are no much job openings for work in the industry. So I think we are starting. Eventually, we'll get something big, but right now, I think it just the game development scene here is starting. Yet.
Oh, it's good that it's growing. I know there's a lot of places across the world where game dev is growing, so that's awesome. Um, what has been
Yeah.
your greatest achievement so far as a game developer, do you think?
I think that this game we are developing now is the biggest thing we have ever achieved. I mean, we have released a game before called Break Guns Using Gens. Is an endless runner, but it didn't did not do very well, not many downloads. But Tales of Lost Mine is still in beta stage. Is a demo game, but we are almost to 700 downloads for a game beta. I think that's something, especially because we haven't done it because we are still in developing it. So yeah, I think that is one of the greatest achievements, and also I think Flame, the game engine that I help maintain with the team for Slime, I think that's growing a lot. A lot of people from all around the world are using it. We are almost close to 1,000 stars on GitHub. So yeah, I think these two, the Tails and Flame, are our greatest achievements.
Your team Fire Slime. That's you and one other person, I believe.
Yeah, almost. It started with me and a friend, Luan, who was the original creator of Flame. We basically, me and him, the games, Tales and Breaking Guns Using Gems were developed by me and him. But there are other two people too. They help us maintain Flame, solving issues on GitHub. Uh, they help us on Discord, handling the community. So we are basically a team of 4 people. But the game dev part, I mean, the development of our current game push is me and another person.
And how long have you been working together, and how did you meet up?
It's not that long. We have started on almost a year actually. In May, this next month, we will be complete 1 year of Fire Slime. Uh, we met on the we work together on the same company, so we start to work on the same project one day. Realized that we both like game dev and stuff. We started doing, creating tales.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah, the other two people are also from the same company, work together.
And do you have oh, I had a question and it's gone now. um oh, so was this your like first foray into video game development was with this group, or did you do some other stuff yourself beforehand?
Yeah, I have started a lot of stuff. I think it's common between indie devs to start stuff and don't finish. No? I have done a lot of things when I was a teenager. I used a lot of RPG Maker XP at the time. I actually did something awesome there. I started making a clone from Harvest Moon. I did almost everything that the game had. The core RPG Maker was pretty cool back then. Got almost 500 downloads. Uh, I also made a lot of games that I had a Java game engine that I started but never finished. I had a lot of games on Android that I started and finished. The list can go on and on.
What was your reason to move toward mobile games for the Fire Slime?
I don't know if that was, uh, how can I say, there is not much a logical reason to do. Basically, when I first talked to Luan about starting build, and well, we thought on using it because that way we could develop the game and upgrade the engine that he started. And already back then, it was already growing a lot in the community. So it was basically because of that, so we could work on both projects. And also, the mobile game dev market, the mobile platform has a very big market, so and it's very easy to release something, at least on the right platform. So I don't know if we are if you were correct the first time to think that is very easy, but at the time it's easier to start working on mobile than on console or PC.
Sounds fair. Um, you don't really need a reason. It's just what you're doing. But yeah,
Yeah,
there is
yeah,
some logic to the mobile market. I hear a lot of opposing opinions on that front.
yeah, exactly. That's why I said matching, assuming that it was easier or better. But well, that's what we got now.
Right? So could you tell us a little bit about the Flame engine and what it can do?
Yeah, sure. So the Flame engine is like its original creator says, a minimalistic engine. It is not yet close to something like Unity or anything. It's something more like to Love 2D. I don't know if you know that engine. It is very much modular. You can use one part of feature. You may, for example, use the sprite features, the game loop features, and not use the audio features. Whatever you can pick parts of it. Uh, the engine is built on another platform. It's called Flutter. It's a multi-platform uh, multi-platform mobile framework developed by Google that allows you to write apps both for Android and iOS. And this platform, it provides a lot of canvas features. You can draw a lot of 2D stuff direct to on. I think it uses OpenGL behind it. So this was a great opportunity to build a game engine on that platform. Uh, yeah, that's basically it. It's run. It's a thing. It's a very thin abstraction for, or if you like it better, helpers for game development using Flutter.
Cool. I know you had tried to convert it to Windows, and you did you get it working on Linux? I don't remember exactly how that all worked. So what
Yeah.
was that all like going to those platforms?
All right. So one feature that I think Flutter, it was built to some way that it could be ported to anywhere. Anywhere that runs C, you can port it somehow. So there is a lot of effort going on by the community to port this for all the major desktop platforms. There is one that I use to try to convert to port the game for Windows that is indeed maintained by Google, but it's far from user friendly. You have to compile a lot of stuff, and I'm not very into desktop development. I have no idea how to use DLLs, for example. So I had a lot of trouble porting it for Windows. I don't know how to do that yet, but Linux was a lot easier. I got it working almost everything. The only feature that I did not get working was the sounds and music, because I would need to implement that stuff native. But all the keybinds, keyboard, video work well. So I think it's not ready yet, but I saw a lot of future for Flame to work on desktop too.
That's that's on the roadmap.
Yeah, yeah. I think we'll need to wait for the community to develop more these tools for porting Flutter for desktop. But I mean, right now we are really focusing on Tales of Lost Mine. That's our main. It's eventually, I don't know, maybe half this year. But yeah, it's on the roadmap. You very like to have Flame games running on Mac, on Windows, and Linux, especially Linux.
All right. Um, so kind of shifting focus from the technical to the game development side. Do you have any general tips for someone who's looking to get into game development and doesn't know quite where to start?
Okay, yeah, I have been recently enjoying doing game jams, né? So I think that's a great start for people to learn about. Sadly, I don't have a lot of time to do game jams like I would like to have, but yeah, I think this is a great start. Also, I always think that cloning simple old games is a great way to get in understand how coding a game is because there's a lot of software developers that think coding a game is like coding a web software or a mobile software, and I think that's not very like it. So you have to relearn a lot of things. Anyway, doing simple games, I think is a great way to get your knowledge into how to code a game. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of things you can read too. Uh, Books, tutorials. I don't know that. Browsing the internet, there's a lot of people trying to help. Anyway,
Yeah, that's good advice. Game jams and clones. Uh,
yeah, game jams I think is the best because you have a timeline, and I think getting lost lost in your motivation when game development is a common thing. So when we have a timeline, I don't know, maybe this is personal, but I think helps get motivated. So yeah, I think Game Jam would be the first choice for anyone trying to start game development.
yeah, I definitely agree about the motivation. Not only the motivation of the timeline, but knowing that everyone else is doing it too. Everyone else is trying to hit that deadline. And I think
Yeah,
you make a good point about the clones though, because a lot of people get into a game jam and they're worried about just recreating something that exists. And that's how you learn. You gotta mimic things that you know work.
exactly. I for example, are learning classics that you used to find on old cell phones. I think that was my first, the first time that I developed all the engine, all the code from the game, and I learned a lot from it. So I mean, if you're going to release something, of course you need to have some originality to it. But if you're learning, don't don't worry about cloning something that already exists. You are just learning.
Absolutely. um, so if there's someone who's interested in getting involved in using Flame specifically, do you have any advice for them getting started with that?
Yeah, well, we have a Discord server for example, and we have channels there for Flame, so that a good place for you to ask questions. On the GitHub page from Flame, there's a lot of material too, so you can. There's examples. There's great documentations. We have a site for Flame too with the documentation, but I think it's outdated. But yeah, that also is a great place to find Flame stuff. And I don't know. I think the best place call Discord, talk to us. I'm almost every time there. Only when I'm not there. Only when I'm sleeping. So yeah, I think that's a great start point.
Awesome. So I think we'll hop into Tales of a Lost Mine at this point. I need to do a little bit to get it set up, so while I'm doing that, you can just introduce us to the game and the idea and maybe where it all came from.
Okay. Well, so like I said, the Tales of Love, uh, I chose that game. I got inspired actually when I played a game called Tiny Dungeon Dangerous on Android. It's a very small Metroidvania, and I thought, hey, a Metroidvania on mobile, that's so cool. I never saw that. But it was so small. I think I finished the game in 40 minutes. So that came to me that should be a great opportunity to make a game that on a platform that's not so common. So basically, the genre choice came from that. Then Tales of Lost Mine still is a mobile game, still is an Android game. It will not be nothing compared to Super Metroid, for example. It will not be that complex. But we are trying to find that middle ground where it's a mobile game, but it's not so small game. Well, that's where I got the inspiration. Basically, the game is a Metroidvania. You travel on a long lost mine. You will need to find the tools, find the upgrades to, uh, to surpass some gates. There is built some puzzles too. I have built puzzle craft books and I got into it, so I have adding some puzzles to it. Yeah, that's basically it.
All right. Well, we're almost set up here. I'm gonna make you disappear. Magic trick.
Okay.
That didn't actually make you disappear. I thought it would. I'm not very good at magic. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. I didn't write down the controls that you sent me.
Oh dear, yeah, you basically use A and D to move from one side to another. I think space to jump.
Okay, here we go. Tales of a Lost Mine.
Awesome.
Right. So you've got like kind of a Game Boy style here. What made you go for that?
Yeah, well, I like Game Boy. That's why. Basically, I mean, no, actually, I'm not. When I started the coming
Broke
with
it.
the art from the game, I I thought in using smaller palettes because I thought that would be easier to make the art, and I am strongly wrong. Eh, but when I realized that there was a palette, and hell, I like this palette, so we stick to it.
All right. We're moving.
Yay!
My computer's gonna have a heart attack with the stream and this thing running, but we got it going. We can go in the mine. There we go. Good stress test for your game.
Yes.
So who did the music?
Yeah, that was a friend of mine. We worked together. I asked him if he was getting into composition, and we can talk and he agreed to do the music. There is not much music. I think there are two loops only: the title screen, the inside the mine. Yeah, that's it.
Might have it a little bit too quiet. Trying to make sure people can hear you, but they also need to hear the nice music, yeah. So he went in the cave.
Yeah. So this was my first major artistic job in pixel
Crashed
art.
again.
Oh god.
This is not what's the thing that they say at the beginning of unfinished games? It's like this is not the final quality of the game. It's still in development.
Yeah, just having developed. It's fine.
Makes it extra challenging.
Yeah.
Got a nice loading screen at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's hope not to crash now. Yeah, you can't go that way.
Were there any tools that you used for like level design or anything external kind of stuff?
Oh yeah. Well, for the art, use Ace for all for the animations, everything. The level design I made on a tile. It's basically to import some tile set images, and it exports the level created in, I think it's XML format. Then we implemented on Flame. Also, I use one tool that I write the code myself for organize the animation. So I have basically a bash script that concatenates every animation from the game, and then I use a tool that I write to map that animation, the single file. That's basically the external tools we use alongside any text editor to write the code.
Block puzzles.
Yeah,
That goes to a menu. You've got a mini map.
yeah. That map system is not trusted. Actually, it is working, but it's not accurate. So this is a one fun thing to talk about. I don't know if you noticed, but the campfire is the saving spot for the game.
Oh, what's the save spot?
Uh, the campfire, the fireplace, the
Oh,
first, yeah.
it crashed again.
Oh god. So a fun thing about that was that design thing to be the save place for the game, and I thought, hey, I think everybody played Tomb Raider and Dark Souls. Everybody will know that the campfire will be the save place for the game. And last year I got to present the game, and about 50 people played it. and almost everybody jumped at the fireplace. So
They
yeah,
skipped the save point.
yeah,
Uh, I mean that's fair. Fire is usually dangerous,
yeah, exactly.
and
So I
that's a
remember
good lesson in game design, I think, because you can never assume that anybody understands anything.
exactly, exactly. Then I make the, the campfire a little more complex. I add the tent there, and the fireplace light up, get close, so people got to realize better will be the final save point from the game because I think there's a little confusion. Yeah,
Yeah, that was an intentional deboost. It's fine. So, kind of walk us through the design, the level design uh, thinking.
well, I I haven't found any good reading material about level design, so basically that was uh, try and error. So I had a lot of people playing and see how things go and try to adjust when I see something that people got confused, doesn't make any sense. I try to make things like that puzzle to where you have to pull the box to be able to pass the gap because that way the player will learn that you can both push and pull the box. Yeah, I think that was the most advanced from level design I did in the game.
Yeah, that's definitely an intuitive spot because I did try to push it first, and then I was like, wait, that doesn't work. So I guess I have to pull it because if I can't, I'm just kind of stuck.
Yeah, exactly. Because the first version there was that spot of the game, so people got to a place where there is a box and they stayed minutes trying to figure out how to solve the. And it was easy if they already knew could pull the box too.
I should have taken those swimming lessons. That wonderful
Yeah.
cliche that platforming heroes can't swim ever.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I mean, I try to put that hint to make the player know can draw on the water. I don't know if it was necessary, but well,
I think it crashed again. It did.
oh god,
It's fine.
it's fine.
Still more stable than Windows. Do
Yeah.
you have any other thoughts in general about this project? Like what kind of plans do you have going forward with this thing?
Yeah, so initial plan is to release this on that Android is the platform that we have the most knowledge and is the most accessible platform. iOS is not very accessible. You have to have on a MacBook, you have to have an iPhone. They are not very cheap.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also we have to iOS development. So that's why we are releasing first on Android. But we will sure will be releasing on iOS eventually. I think that will be the next platform release. Uh, I have a very strong opinion on releasing this for desktop, for Windows, Mac, and Linux. And I have some, I may call it a dream to release this on Switch. I hoping to ask Nintendo for the development kit. So let's hope one
Fingers
day.
crossed.
Yeah. And then I don't know, start a new game.
So your Fire Slime team is planning to do just a whole ton of games?
Yeah, that's our second game, né? Like I said, actually this was our first. We paused each to develop the other game because, well, we overscoped that game and we are getting the motivation. So we thought, hey, let's start another game. Each act did work. We were able to finish it with motivation. We learned a lot from the release and went back to developing Tales. And well, we have a lot of ideas for future games, but haven't set for anyone yet. Starting focus on Tales for now.
Cool stuff. Any final thoughts on the game?
I don't know. I think it because yeah, it is a Metroidvania. I try not to go so far from the formula, but it is our first big game, and I I don't know if I'm right or not, but to risk too much. Uh, but well, it's going pretty well. I have high hopes for it. The feedbacks are being cool, so yeah, I'm hoping will be a good game in the end. The very least, I have learned a lot from it. So yeah,
Learning, that's important.
exactly, exactly.
Even if this one is not massive success, you've learned something. Maybe the next one will
Exactly.
be. Uh, Let me get you back up on here. There you are. I found you. Okay. So it's unfortunate that it wasn't running perfectly smoothly there. I imagine it runs better on the actual hardware.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that's kind of a technical issue of streaming Android games
Exactly.
is rather difficult.
Maybe the next one you can play on Windows,
Yeah, let's
native on
hope.
Windows.
Um, yeah, so let's open it up here. Let's have some questions from the chat. I know we've already got a couple, so if anyone has a question for Erick here about the game or game development in general, or Fire Slime, or Flame, or mobile dev, or any of the things, um, random questions, preferably
Yeah.
not too personal, obviously, but yeah. Uh, just type it on in the chat and we'll pick them out. We've got one here from Pan Pizza Wee. Um, when do you think the game will be released and on which platforms?
Yeah, so all, we are planning on releasing 2 months from now. We are hoping to be able to release it from 2 months from now, but I can give you an exact date. But everything is showing us that we'll be able to achieve that date. So let's hope for August to be the release month for the game. On Android, on iOS, I have no idea, basically. uh, so, like I said, Android will be the foreseeable future will be on iOS, the next platform to release.
and then the Switch version is up to Nintendo, basically.
Yeah. Let's hope the release of the development kit I have to the console.
Are you planning any other consoles? Would you want to do like PS4 or Xbox or anything?
Yeah, Xbox I think is on the radar because it's incredibly easy to develop for Xbox. I mean,
Really,
you
Iris?
can
One
you
moment.
can take
Okay,
I got confused. So
continue.
yeah, Xbox.
I disabled my announcement sounds, but I didn't disable my other sounds. That's totally my bad.
Yeah, I got confused there.
It's fine. Um, you were saying Xbox something.
Yeah, right. So Xbox is very easy to ask Microsoft. You just need to have an Windows machine and an Xbox, of course. Then you can just download an app on each, and the Xbox will be in development mode. You can buy your Windows machine, test, run your game directly on the Xbox. So I think this is it's pretty cool and very accessible. So I think that can be a platform that you can target because you don't need to ask it any permission for the development kit. I know PlayStation has some bureaucracy to get the development. I don't know what you need to do, but yeah, I think basically we're targeting the future Xbox and maybe Switch if Nintendo likes us.
Cool stuff. Any other questions? Any other questions? Any questions at all? Anyone in the chat? Um, I know one favorite fan favorite question is what's your favorite food?
Well, I have no idea how to, but it's lasagna. You know that Italian food,
Lasagna?
lasagna. That's right. That's my favorite food.
Good stuff. Very good comfort food.
Yeah.
Taimai says, "Do you think Tales of a Lost Mine on Xbox?" Like we covered that. As long as you can get it on Windows, it's pretty easy. You said, right?
Yeah. Maybe in the future when we after we that's the next platform we target. I don't know. It's nothing for sure, but being an easy console to target to, I think that would to try.
Alrighty. More questions. More questions. Uh, I went to GDC one year, and there was a guy that just kept trying and trying really, really hard to get people to ask him questions, and nobody wanted to ask questions because he finished his talk like 20 minutes early.
Oh god.
It was so good. All right, here we go. Pocket puzzle. Do you think use more layers for the background? I think that's an
Some
art question.
people, yeah, some people ask me that, and I don't know. I mean, I want to keep the game simple to give the retro look to you mean this is an Android, but I kind of wanted people to think this is on Game Boy. So I don't know if I would want to add another layer so I can keep the game its way, né? More retro. But well, I don't know. Depends how people.
Certainly wouldn't want more layers for the emulator. It was
Yeah,
struggling as it
yeah,
was. Uh,
yeah. I mean, Game Boy. Most games from Game Boy, so I already did something not so retro there. So I don't know.
we got a question from Lilu Cormick. How did you come to know the 8-Bits to Infinity community and me?
Oh yeah, basically on a game jam, I found the. I think it was the retro platform jam. Yeah, I think that was. Joined the jam, joined the Discord, and came to know Dreams community and so. And I have failed at jam.
You tried, though. That's the important thing.
Yeah,
You joined
exactly.
and you tried. And now you're
Yeah,
making a retro platformer, so, it all worked out in the end.
exactly. Yeah, I was already Tails back then. That maybe that's because why I was searching for retro platforming stuff on the internet. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, was a jam.
Cool stuff. All right. I think that's it for questions, unless anyone has one they want to snipe in here. Um, where can we find more information about you and your games? I can drop the link again, but is there anything else that you would like to share?
Uh, uh, Let me think. I don't, we are not a small team. I mean, we are just trying to developing games and hopefully one day be able to live from it. So we're not even a company yet. We're just a bunch of people who don't sleep and make games. But I don't know. You can find a lot of community stuff on the link posted on the chat. And well, come and say hi. That's it. I don't know.
All right. We've got one last question here from Pocket Puzzle. Are you working on any other projects?
uh, mm, no and yes, and not no game where there's not other, but there is always Flame that we constantly maintain, add new features and so on. There is also some tools that I like to create an animation tool is kind of stopped right now, but I really hope to get it back to. So yeah, I always have some side projects on the side, but no other games. Tails is the main game.
Alrighty. Any final thoughts that you'd like to share about anything?
I don't know. There is one thing I could the theory of fun. I read this back some months ago, and it was very cool. I learned a lot from of game design from it, and that's it. Just try doing your stuff and be happy. I don't know. I'm not good at that stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us, Eric.
My pleasure.
It was nice to hear about Flame, Tales of a Lost Mine. Everyone get hyped for the game. Certainly up my alley. I love retro. I love Game Boy. I love platformers. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks.